Hello and welcome to Highlights. My name is Jim Strawn, host of the television program Highlights from the Heart of Our Community. Is a television program that's brought to you through a collaboration between my company, Jim Strawn and Company, along with Optimum Cable Services and our good friends at Kanawha County Schools TV. And if you're a regular viewer of our show, and we certainly hope that you are, you know how much we love to focus on those grassroots organizations, charitable, not-for-profit groups, movements. They're doing outstanding work, amazing work, to make our great state of West Virginia, our Kanawha Valley, our city of Charleston, and all points in between a much better place to live, learn, work, and to play. And on today's Highlights program, we're going to feature an organization, an association that's been doing that for a very long time. They have a very special Winter Symposium coming up at the Embassy Suites on February the 11th. It's the first time they've been on our program, so I'm very excited to have them on. Plus, I'm very excited to have them on because of the topic. We're going to be talking with folks from the West Virginia Nursery and Landscape Association. No one loves landscaping and lawns as much as I do, so I look forward to this. I look forward to learning more about their symposium, learning more about their purpose and what they're all about. So lots of good insight coming your way, lots of really good information. So sit back, relax, soak it all up as I talk landscaping in West Virginia for the next 30 minutes or so. To help me do that, I welcome into the program for the very first time my good friend Julie. Julie, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
It's good to see you. Julie Robinson.
Yes.
You're the executive director with the West Virginia Nursing and
Nursery.
Nursery Landscape
Association.
I wanted to get it right.
Yes.
And you brought one of your board members.
I did.
Jason Testman. Jason, how are you?
Good, Jim. How are you?
Good to see you. You're a landscape architect.
Yes.
And you're a board member with Julie's association, right? Very
Yes.
good. We're going to come back and check with you in just a moment. But Julie, first time on, first time we've had anybody on from this association. Talk to the audience. I'm sure they're like, I didn't know we had a nursery and landscape association. Talk to the audience about what you're all about, what your purpose is, what your mission is, what you guys do.
Sure. Thank you. We are a nonprofit professional trade organization.
Okay.
Our members are nurseries and growers and landscapers and suppliers to that industry. We refer to it as the green industry.
The green industry, okay.
So that's all to do with growing, basically.
Gotcha. Okay.
We've been around since 1939.
Wow.
And our members are all in those sections, and then also we have individual professional members who are maybe landscape architects, retired
Like Jason is a
professionals,
landscape
like
architect.
Jason. So that's what our main focus is, to provide education for our members and the public, and to provide certification to our members. We do a little advocacy. What else do we do, Jason?
Go ahead, Jason.
Well, we also focus on education, and one of the things that concerns me the most is education and scholarship, and the board's has done a very good job of making sure that we do our best to promote this industry to young people in the state of West Virginia. We might have gotten to this eventually through talking to you, but we've proudly given, over the last year, $35,000 in scholarships to eligible West Virginia residents, young people who are attending college, seeking an education in this industry in the future. And you know, if you go back several years, it's even quite substantially more than that we've contributed to education.
I love that you guys are focusing on the education. You're a landscape architect. Talk about your journey, your education. It's a 4-year degree. What is it? What can you do when you get something like that, Jason?
The landscape architecture, the easiest way for me to describe it is that it's a profession that is a blend of, we pull from a little bit from engineering, a little bit from architecture, and a little bit from horticulture. So it gives you the tools to be a good steward of the land, so that if we manipulate the land on a property, it's in harmony with the components that we put into it, like architectural structures or civil spots, parking lots, pedestrian circulation. It's essentially a profession that focuses on well thought out planning of
Well, the key word there is planning, and we were talking off air. I know a lot of city planners throughout the great state of West Virginia. Many of them have either some kind of certification or a degree in landscape architect, because you're, like you said, you're a good steward of the land, you're manipulating the land, you know, and we're growing, so we want to grow smart, we want to grow safely as well. We also want to grow so we can keep the beauty of our topography where it's intact.
Well, that's a good point, and I don't want to pull too much away from the talk about the association, but that's why we're also focused on offering these this educational assistance to young people, because in this state our two best assets are our people and our land, and if we can recruit from our own group and turn them into stewards of our, you know, our asset, our land, then there's no better way to do that than in the state of West Virginia with our young people and just focus on taking care of our future here.
One more question for you, then I'm going to come back over here to Julie. Where did you get your education? Where did you go to school?
West Virginia University.
West Virginia University. So we're a land-grant institution up there in Morgantown, so I'm assuming that your landscape architect program is pretty well thought of and
Absolutely.
pretty stellar in the state of West Virginia, throughout the East Coast, I would even imagine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Julie, you said you guys support your members. Let's talk about the membership with the Nursery Landscape Association. How many members, what do they consist of? Who is a good candidate to be a member of your association?
So our members are largely businesses, and they would be nurseries or growers, and a larger percentage of our membership now is in the landscape industry.
Is it 100 members, 200 members?
About 120 right now.
About 120 members?
Yes.
How many nurseries do we have throughout the state of West Virginia?
We don't have nearly the nurseries we used to have. They are
reckon.
largely family organizations, and second generations aren't picking that up as often as they used to. In fact, when this group was formed in 1939, it was called the West Virginia Nurserymen's Association, and then the landscape component was added a little later on as that industry really took off.
Are most of the members, when I think of landscaping, I think of flowers and shrubbery and trees and bushes and grass and different things. Are any of the members, do they have fruit? Are there pear nurseries or apple orchards, or is that a different association?
That's more agriculture.
Agriculture,
But
right.
our members also do a lot of hardscaping, irrigation, outdoor lighting, water features, so just beyond the plant aspect of it.
Very good. Jason, you work with Valley Gardens, right, in
Yes.
Charleston? It's a 12-month job, I'm sure, but what's it like now? What are the seasonal changes for a landscape architect in a business in nursery?
Well, what I do as a landscape architect is a little different in working for a landscape construction company as opposed to, you know, an architectural or engineering firm. But, you know, we focus on landscape planning for residences and commercial properties, improving those properties for people we may already be serving as grounds maintenance customers. But this time of year, it's snow removal, and we can do some of the hard stuff like pavers and retaining walls if the weather is letting us work.
Very good. Julie, as we continue our conversation, we're talking with Julie Robinson. She's the Executive Director with the West Virginia Nursery Landscape Association. Jason Testman, board member with the Nursery and the Nursery Landscape Association of West Virginia. We talked about the membership. We're talking about different things that a landscape architect can do. You guys are so big into the education. You're having this Winter Symposium coming up. So the date on that is February the 11th. I think it gets started about 9 or so in the morning. Am I right? 9 or so?
9:30.
9:30.
Yeah.
Runs until 3:30. So it's a 6-hour symposium at Embassy Suites. Who's it for? What can folks expect? And I'm sure give them ways that they can still get involved and be an attendee.
Sure. Well, it's open to the public.
Okay, great. Like I could come because I just love landscaping.
You could, yes.
Okay.
The speakers are geared toward our members,
Okay.
though. So they are professional level speakers, and we bring them in from all over the country. For instance, on the design, we have 2 tracks.
I was going to say you have 2 tracks. I was getting ready to ask you.
2 tracks. One is a design track, and the other is a business track,
Okay.
a for-profit track. So on the design track, this time we have Christopher Barrett Sheridan,
Okay.
who is known as the flower sommelier.
Okay.
Never say that
Like a
right.
wine sommelier, but
That's
he's a plant
thank you.
sommelier. Okay, sommelier.
And he's going to be talking about designing a garden for fragrance. So
But that would be herbs and things with the
herbs would be a component.
Any kind of scent.
Yes, we'll
Any
find out more about that.
That's interesting. I love that.
Yeah, it's very different. Generally, gardens are designed for appearance. And then we have somebody, Mark Highland. He's the organic mechanic. He's going to talk about soil amendments and, the big difference things like biochar can make to your soil and your plant's performance. We have Professor Peter Butler coming from West Virginia University. He's a landscape architecture professor. He's going to talk about the history and evolution of garden design through the ages. And then finally on that side, we have somebody coming in from Luminen Lighting, and he's going to talk about innovations in outdoor lighting, how to use those in the landscape.
Okay. And you can learn more about this symposium on the website, right?
Yes.
I'm going to give that, we'll put it up on the screen here. It's WVNLA.org. There it is on the screen, WVNLA.org. You can also call the association's office if you'd like to learn more about the symposium or the association or membership or certification or whatever they offer. Give them a call at 304-553-1234, 553-1234.
And Jim, they can register online.
That's where they register at that on that website. And it's really affordable to come. So there's a member rate and a non-member rate.
There is. The member rate is $50.
Very affordable, by the way.
The non-member rate is $100. It includes a very nice lunch. And we also have our members' annual breakfast, our annual meeting at 8:30 in the mornings, so they can do that before the education courses get started. But I would like to talk a little bit about the other track, the business track.
Business track, yeah.
And I'm really excited for these sessions this time because it would be a really good opportunity for somebody who's maybe just getting started in the industry. We're having a panel discussion with somebody to speak about taxes, to somebody else to talk about employee safety requirements, somebody else to talk about licensing and permitting. So these are all things that if you're just getting started in the business, or if you've been at it for a while and you're trying to grow your business, you need to make sure you have these things in place so you won't get in trouble down the line. We want folks to do it right.
Sounds like a plethora of information.
It is, yes.
And great quality speakers coming, great seminars.
Well, in the morning in that session,
Yeah.
we have Jody Shillian. He's a design build guy, really kind of a guru in the industry, and he really has many, many years of experience, and he'll be a great speaker as well. And then finishing out, we have somebody from the West Virginia Small Development group that's going to speak to us about using harnessing social media and even artificial intelligence. Those are great tools for companies that maybe don't have a big marketing budget.
I saw that name. Is that Will?
Yeah.
Will, from our development office.
Yes,
Will
yes.
Miller. Will Miller.
Will Miller.
Yeah,
That's
I know
right.
Will Miller. So
Yeah.
he does a great job. I see his social media stuff. I'm a social media guy too, so we see each other's stuff, I'm sure. But yeah, Will will do a great job. Again, sound like a really great lineup. I wanted to ask Jason, do you know Professor Butler from WVU?
I've met him. He was
met.
not one of my professors,
one of your
but
professors.
we've talked before.
Have you guys done this? Is this an annual thing?
Oh, yes. This is our annual meeting,
This
our
is your
annual
meeting.
conference, yes.
Well, I'm glad to finally get you guys on and learn more about this personally myself. Jason, what are you looking forward to the most? You're obviously, you led with education. You're excited about this education. You're excited about these sessions. What are you excited about the symposium most about, you think?
Honestly, this is one of my favorite
I bet.
days of the entire year for our industry. And Julie's been the executive director since before I was a board member. She does all the heavy lifting for this and does an excellent job. And our membership really enjoys this. It's not just one of these boring conferences that you go to.
I can sense that it's not.
We all love this event.
You're passionate about it for sure.
You know, the business side is invaluable for the business owners, but for people who are, you know, the public attendees who are creative minded, these speakers on the design side are not just experts in the design field, but they're also very entertaining, and it's very enjoyable to attend and watch. And I have a really hard time being on both the business and the design side to pick between the two halves of the seminar.
Because the seminars are running
Concurrently.
currently,
Yeah.
Right.
so it's you got to pick and choose and try to jump in as many as you
what
can.